All of you online and offline, good afternoon. Online students, am I streaming fine? Hi Vikram, Dishant, Nidhi, Devangana, Deepak, Akash. Am I streaming fine? Good afternoon, yes, all nice? Okay, good, nice. Then we start off. So some of you have joined me fresh today after you had your approximately 1 week of initiation sessions where we do a bit of your map work, some basic concepts so that you get oriented on this. Hi Prachi, Piyush. So offline students, so we start off now. So, yeah. Hi Saira, good afternoon. So, we're starting with geomorphology. Those who joined us fresh today, I believe if you have done the initial 1 week of classes, you had the session on orientation also. Okay. Otherwise, you can sit back after the class, I'll discuss with you. So, geomorphology, this is paper 1 and this is unit 1. In geography optional, this is the longest, okay, or you can say it is the unit that takes the maximum time, approximately around 20-25 days or sessions rather you need for geomorphology. Hi Atul, good afternoon. Okay, so it is the longest one, and for some time the questions on this have gone beyond syllabus also. But my guess is that this topic continues to be important, and इसमें से काफी scoring questions आ जाते हैं. Okay, let's see, there are some topics now which are very scoring, and some topics not as scoring. Generally, my evaluation is when the questions are straight questions, which is not much of thinking questions, they are not very scoring, but they're very safe topics. Okay, so it's like this. There are some questions which are tough, maybe beyond syllabus, इसका आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. There are questions which are straight questions, and there are questions which are thinking questions. Straight questions are safe questions. They will have average scores. इसमें scores ज़्यादा बढ़ेगा नहीं घटेगा. But the thinking questions, these are the scoring ones, because they are not the regular ones. In geomorphology, for a long time, most questions were safe questions. But then they have changed something last 2-3 years. Now the questions are becoming more of this type. Not regular questions, थोड़ा सोचना पड़ता है. These are also applied questions related to topics of disasters, related to topics of planning, related to water issues. Okay, so they are applied topics which are important part of any planning, part of any development. Okay? So these type of questions are now more in geomorphology. Okay, just initiating all of you here. Your reference book, for this is Geomorphology by Savindra Singh. Geomorphology by Savindra Singh. This is your main reference book, And NCERT class 11th is always recommended. Class 11th ka, which is fundamentals in physical geography. You must have this book, whether you are optional student or GS student. This NCERT class 11th is a must have to make sure that you all are, keeping in tune with the basic concepts. This year, maximum marks to, no Priyanshu, aisa nahi hai. The marks are not dramatically more. Okay. Har saal, every year, they ask 2 to 3 questions on an average. There are some years they've asked 4 questions also. एक आध साल में एक सवाल भी पूछा है. 2 से 3 questions होता है. And generally it is worth 20 to 30 marks total. Okay. One question is always 10 mark का question होता है. Okay. Or a question can be 15 mark or 20 mark. It varies. So it's not that you have got very a disproportionate amount of marks are asked. No, I'll give the list to you. So 2 to 3 questions hote hain, more or less. Himanshu. Okay. So the reference book is Geomorphology one. Those who have joined me fresh from today on, or even otherwise, in Savindra Singh there are a couple of books. There is a specialized book, Geomorphology by Savindra Singh, a specialized book, Climatology by Savindra Singh. There is Oceanography by Savindra Singh. There is Environment Geography by Savindra Singh. इसके अलावा एक और किताब है Physical Geography by Savindra Singh. In Physical Geography, all of this, okay, in some way condensed, and they all are part of one book ultimately. Okay. But what happens when combining it, lot of topics they have left out, which actually are the tricky ones for the examination. So my recommendation is, don't buy this book. Those of you who have this book, theek hai, rakho. I mean, the shopkeeper can exchange it, good, try it. Okay. Ya fir, you just have it as a part of your library. But I'll recommend buy the specialized books. And any edition will do. The good thing of Savindra Singh is, he has not changed the content, okay, at all for the last, 20 odd years. Same content, page number change ho jata hai because kabhi boda hai, kabhi chota hai. Otherwise, the book is same. I have an older edition that looks like this. Okay, Geomorphology by Savindra Singh. The cover can change, that's all. So any edition will do. Okay, Manav, answering your question. Any edition will do. Okay, all these 4 books are not changed at all. They remain the same in terms of content. Anuksha, you can't hear my voice. Maximum volume to yahan par hai. All the others also have the same problem, or is it just Anushka having the problem? Audio capture बढ़ा दिया मैंने थोड़ा सा. Am I audible to all the others? Yes. In general, my recommendation is दिल से सुना करो. Okay. कान वान से होता नहीं effective. ठीक है? Anushka. Okay. So the reference book is Geomorphology by Savindra Singh, and the NCERT class 11th is an important book, okay, to have your basics clear. Now let me explain the syllabus to you. Okay. Syllabus of this subject, of this unit is, now you can divide geomorphology into, okay, 3 groups. Essentially, geomorphology studies what? It studies land, okay, which we call as the lithosphere. When I say land, I mean the land of the continents and also the surface, okay, rocks of the oceans. In that sense, hum bata rahe. We call this as lithosphere. And in this, we study the landforms. The landforms, we study, okay, what are the features. We study how were they made. We study how they change. We study, okay, how the lithosphere is related to, okay, and impacts man. How does it impact man? It impacts man in terms of earthquakes, in terms of volcanoes, in terms of it impacts climates, in terms of it impacts resources. Broadly a scope hai. In geomorphology, the study is studying the land of the earth. When I say land, I'm not talking the land as a dry land. I'm talking about a layer called as the lithosphere. Lith, the word lith means rocks. Okay, rocks are lithosphere. And the lithosphere has a continent part and has the ocean floor. It has the ocean floor. And these landforms, okay, are part of the land. There's the mountains. When I say features, I mean there are mountains, there are plains, there are valleys, okay, there are plateaus. So what are the features? All the features, how were they made? Okay, how were they made? Some force from interiors have made them. Some force of erosion has shaped them. How were they made? And how do they change? Okay, change. They were steep, they become gentle. They were high, they become low-lying. They were flat, they get elevated. There are some changes happening. And the lithosphere, how it impacts man. Impacts man, it modifies climate. The mountains can block, okay, winds and cause rainfall. Mountains can, okay, cause snowfall. Mountains are related to earthquakes. Some land is vulnerable to volcanoes. Land can have resources. There is resource of minerals, resources, okay, which we mine, oil, gas, coal. Okay, ये सारा is scope of geomorphology. Okay, so this is the scope. Now, ये scope को हम we can divide under three broad heads. We can divide under what's called as tectonics geomorphology. We can divide it into structural geomorphology and applied geomorphology. Broadly, ये तीन categories हैं. Tectonics geomorphology, I'll expect all of you keep jotting, okay? You don't have to wait for me to tell you to start writing. You keep jotting. This also helps you appreciate what we will study. Okay, so I was explaining the syllabus. If you have not written this down, jot it down. Yeah, Vikram, please. Okay, okay, Anushka, fine. Okay? So the syllabus is what I was giving you a brief idea about. Okay, so it is about the study of land. The right word is study of the lithosphere. Okay, it includes studying the features of the continents. It includes studying the features of the ocean floor. When I say oceans, ocean का एक तो floor होता है, and then there is water. I am studying the ocean floor here, ये वाला. Okay, what are the landforms here? How was the ocean made? Okay, whether we have volcanoes here or not. There are some islands here. Okay, it's part of this topic, oceans and continents. हालांकि a bit more detail, the ocean floor is studied under oceanography. Okay, a bit more detail under oceanography, but we'll cover something under geomorphology also. We study landforms. Landforms ke what? Landforms ke features. Features as in what are the properties, what they look like, how high they are, like how steep they are, the features. How were they made? How they change. How were they made? How do they change? Okay. How are they made? I said the forces from interiors can form. The forces of erosion can shape interior forces. Okay, then lithosphere ka impact kya hai? How does the lithosphere impact man in terms of events like earthquakes, volcanoes, in terms of modifying climate, okay, in terms of resources that we benefit from. Okay, it impacts man, it influences it. It's a important consideration in any constructions. You want to make a road, you want to make a highway, you want to make a building. Okay, the right type of land, the soils, the rocks, they are an important consideration in construction. वो भी हम पढ़ते हैं. We call that as applied geomorphology. So broadly, I have described the scope. You can divide this under 3 broad heads. Okay, we call the first subhead as tectonic geomorphology. The second is structural geomorphology. Third is the applied geomorphology. Okay, tectonic geomorphology is all about the interiors of the earth and the associated processes and the landforms. Okay, so when I say tectonic, I mean the interiors of the earth. Okay, the word tectonics, the word tectonics come from the word technique. Okay, tectonic, technology, technique means something which is building force, something is made. Tectonic is the main creation force of landforms. Okay, so the word tectonics implies these are large scale forces from the within interiors. The large scale forces, the large scale processes, and the genesis is the interiors of the earth. Andar se hota hai. Okay, so under this we study the interiors of the earth. We study the associated processes. Volcanism is a process. Tectonics is a process. Continents moving are a process. Okay, continents colliding are a process. So all the processes associated and the landforms formed. Tectonic. Tectonics mein broadly we have what's called as continental drift theory. Okay, we have a plate tectonics. We have mountain building. We have earthquakes. We have volcanoes. We study a concept called as isostasy. We also have geomagnetism. Broadly, this is the scope of the tectonics geomorphology. I repeat, short mein I wrote CDT, which is continental drift theory. CDT is continental drift. You can mention CDT, drift theory. Plate tectonics, PT is plate tectonics. Mountain building, how mountains are formed. Okay, earthquakes, volcanoes. It includes isostasy, a concept hai, is a new concept, I'll teach that to you. Isostasy, and also something called as geomagnetism. Okay, इसमें questions एक आध ही आए हैं, but syllabus का part है. This is the tectonic geomorphology. Under structural geomorphology, okay, we study certain theories of slopes development, how slopes are formed. So your syllabus talks about slopes like Davis model एक है, एक Penck का model है, a model given by L.C. King का model है. There's a concept called as denudation, chronology, a concept called as erosion surface. It's all part of structural geomorphology. This topic does not include much of what happens inside the earth. Tectonic geomorphology is part of what happens inside the earth. Structural one is more about what happens above the earth. Okay, how does the wind shape, how does the river shape, the role of maybe glaciers, उसमें कुछ models हैं. So slope development, I gave you some names. Davis, D-A-V-I is Davis, Penck, P-N-C-K, Penck, L.C. King. These three are the main models. There are 2 3 other models, I'll give some idea to you. L.C. King's model, Then an idea called as denudation, D-E-N-U-D-A-T-I-O-N, denudation chronology, or just write DC, chronology. Something called as erosion surface. Okay. This is also part of structural geomorphology. Okay. So this is a tricky part. Most of us know about this. ये part of GS भी होता है, but this is not a part of GS. Hardcore geography, masters, geography, graduation. This is different from what you know geography in your GS. And the third I said is applied geomorphology. Applied geomorphology includes economic geomorphology. There is environmental geomorphology. Okay, applied as in construction aspect. The syllabus mentions largely concerns around geohydrology. Okay, geohydrology, economic geomorphology, environmental geomorphology, construction geomorphology. और एक topic है, I mean it's a gray area, but we'll put it here. Something called as channel morphology. Channel morphology. It can be partly structural, it can be partly applied geomorphology also. Well, I'll put it under applied geomorphology. It's about rivers, how they move, what they do, and so on. It's called as channel morphology. All fine, all of you? So you have some idea about syllabus here? Okay, what is the scope of syllabus? Now, is syllabus mein what mistakes students do and what mistakes sometimes as teachers we commit is we spend too much time here. ये वाले part में we spend lot of time and this gets ignored invariably and this is just covered because ये बहुत technical area है. Not everybody is comfortable with this topic. And actually, if you ask me, you must spend more time here because these are questions which you can answer. Okay, you will not require too much of depth understanding. Okay, basic GS वाला भी ये handle हो जाएगा ये वाला. So we'll try to divide our time that ways. So we will study this, but try not to ignore this and this because bulk of the tricky questions are coming from here. They come from applied aspects and they come from the structural geomorphology, slopes वगैरह से. इससे tricky questions होते हैं. The questions are not always very straight. Okay, ये वाले these topics I consider these as safe topics. ये आएगा तो लिखो, but average marks ही रहेंगे largely. But these questions can give you very good marks. That's one mistake we do. So just to give an idea about syllabus, once again, let me show that to you on your screen. You all can see this now? So we have origin, evolution of the Earth's crust is also as part of your tectonic topic. Physical conditions of the Earth's interiors, ये भी tectonic वाला part है. Continental drift, plate tectonics, endogenic and exogenic forces, mountain building, channel morphology, geomagnetism, exogenic topic of factors controlling landform development, earthquakes, tsunamis. Then we have slope development, okay, isostasy, erosion surface, geosynclines, okay, erosion chronology here, volcanicity, applied aspects में geohydrology, economic geology and environment. So broadly, this is the scope of your geomorphology. Okay? I'll want all of you to keep your syllabus handy. हमेशा अपने बैग में होना चाहिए. And all of you, the new students खासकर, take a printout of the previous year's questions. Priyanka, if you can share with all the new students again the copy of the PYQs, the previous year's questions jo hain. So take a printout of all of that and get into class. We can discuss once in a week or maybe end of module mein, but keep it handy. हम जो भी पढ़ेंगे, go back and check what type of questions are asked. ठीक है? Okay. So we move on. Now, let me give you some questions asked. Okay? Some of the questions asked in previous years. Write down the questions. (2024) में लास्ट 2-3 साल के दे देते हैं आपको. 24 में one question was, what are truncated spurs? TRUNCATED. What are a truncated? What are a truncated spurs? एक टाइप का लैंडफॉर्म है. Truncated spurs. Where and how are they formed? Where and how are they formed? This was a 10-mark question asked in 24. एक ये क्वेश्चन था. एक और क्वेश्चन है, this is geomorphology but linked with environment also, but उसे लिख लो आप. Mountain regions are more fragile to ecological changes. Mountain regions are more fragile to ecological changes. Explain. More fragile to ecological changes. Explain. This was also a 10-mark question. ये थोड़ा सा वो overlap में है. Part geomorphology and part environment geography also. The next question is, examine the recent views on mountain building process. Examine the recent views on mountain building process. Divide the world mountains on the basis of their genesis. Examine the recent view on mountain building process and divide the world mountains on the basis of their genesis. On the basis of their genesis. This was a 20-mark question. This was a 20-mark question. एक और question, again it is on the cusp of a bit of geomorphology and a bit of applied aspect of disaster management में. Okay, write down. What is Yazoo stream? YAZOO. What is Yazoo stream? YAZOO. What are Yazoo streams? Why are Yazoo basins areas of repeated flooding? Why are Yazoo basins areas of repeated flooding? Give examples of Yazoo streams from various parts of the world. Give examples of Yazoo streams from various parts of the world. ये वो वाला question था. We don't have any clue. Okay. And the choices were such that you could have left this question also. So every year, say, in preparation, don't try to prepare foolproof. का मतलब मैं सब पढ़ लूं और जो भी आए I will not miss. You'll never achieve that. Okay. So every year you'll have 1 or 2 questions which will trap you. And good for us, these questions you can eliminate, okay, because there are choices. ठीक है? So ये वैसा वाला question था which maybe one or two may have attempted. Otherwise, this is not the one that we teach or you will know about. Okay, looking back, this could have been part of channel morphology. Okay, but then your book also doesn't have this in detail. Anyways, we'll discuss it now that it's asked. These were the 4 questions asked, and this was a 15-mark question. This was a 15. I said 2 core geomorphology hai, or 2 overlap hai. One with flooding, and one they have asked in relation to ecological changes. Okay? This was in 24. In 2023, likho questions kya hai? In 23, evidences of paleomagnetism. Evidences of paleomagnetism. Paleo, P-A-L-E-O, paleomagnetism and sea floor spreading. Paleomagnetism and sea floor spreading have validated. Evidences of paleomagnetism and sea floor spreading have validated that continents and ocean basins, the continents and ocean basins have never been stationary. Have never been stationary. Elucidate with examples. Elucidate or explain with examples. Evidences from paleomagnetism and sea floor spreading have validated that oceans and continents have never been stationary. Have never been stationary. Okay. Elucidate with examples and diagrams. Okay. This was one question. This was a 20-mark question. This was a 20-mark question. I would rate this question as a tricky one. Okay. In fact, 2024 mein, I think all the questions were not straight. Okay, the tricky ones, which you have to apply yourself. The other question asked was define penny plains. Define penny plains, P-E-N-E, penny plains. Describe the landscape associated with penny plains. Define penny plains and define and describe the landscape associated with penny plains under different geomorphic cycles. Under different geomorphic cycles. Again, a tricky question. This is part of structural geomorphology, not a regular question. Okay. So 23 mein, both the questions are not the straight ones. This was a 15-mark question. This was a 15-mark question. 23 में यही 2 सवाल थे. One was a 20-mark question, another being a 15-mark question. In 2022, write down. 22. This year there are 4 questions. What are speleothems? What are speleothems? Speleothems. Discuss the forms and features of speleothems. Discuss the forms and the features of speleothems. A very unusual question. Most of you will not study this, but I am very happy with this question. Why? Because before the prelims we had a test series, and this one I had taught. Okay, it was just a chance. It's not that I have control on what they said ultimately, but because I had taught and it was a very unusual question, पूछ दिया, I was very happy. Okay, and it did. You see, अगर ऐसा सवाल आ जाता है ना, where others can't answer and you could have answered alone, it gives a huge edge over the others. 10 mark का question था. Okay, speleothems. Yeah, we'll discuss that. Speleothems basically is a generic word that is related to all type of depositional landforms of karst topography. If you know what's karst topography is limestone rocks में बनता है. All the depositional landforms को मिलाकर बोलते हैं speleothems. Okay, there are stalactites, stalagmites, there are limestone pillars. Okay, there is tufa, talc. Okay, so all of those depositions together are called as speleothems. एक क्वेश्चन ये था. एक और क्वेश्चन है, explain the various aspects of channel morphology. Explain how various aspects of channel morphology are used in transportation, a settlement and land use planning. Are used in transportation, settlement and land use planning. Comma, flood control and flood management. How is channel morphology used in transportation, settlements and land use planning, in flood control and in flood management? In flood control and in flood management. A 15-mark question. Both these questions are tricky questions. The speleothem, many would have left, and this question, while you know the answer, but you may not have prepared like this. Okay. The third question is, discuss the role of SAR, S-A-R. Discuss the role of SAR, capital S, capital A, capital R, SAR. SAR is slopes, altitude and relief. The role of slopes, altitude and relief in landscape development. In landscape development. Discuss role of slope, altitude, relief in landscape development. This was a 15-mark question. This also was a tricky one. And the fourth question asked was, with sketches describe mountain genesis and mountain types. Describe mountain genesis and mountain types. Give examples of mountain systems across the world. Give examples of mountain systems across the world. This was again a 15-mark question. So this year, 55 marks, okay, was geomorphology. Okay, among the higher side. 4 questions last time they asked was in 2019. Okay. Baki ek list bana lo. These are the 3 recent years. Other questions, just take a list. 21 mein, they've asked on altiplanation. Just write the word. In 21, the question asked was altiplanation, A-L-T-I, altiplanation. The second question was, okay, tectonics and how it is derived from isostasy and continental drift. Tectonics and how it is derived from isostasy and continental drift. एक third question था, stream basins and watershed. I'm just giving the keywords to you. Stream basins and watershed. Okay. Is saal, the first question was 10 marks. The second 2 questions were 20 marks each. So 50 marks again from geomorphology. 2020 में one was on geohydrological investigations. Geohydrological investigations. 10 marks का question था. The next question was various theories on oceans and continents evolution. Oceans and continents evolution. This was a 20-mark question. And the third question was problems in identifying erosion surfaces. Problems in identifying erosion surfaces. Okay, so I've given you the questions of last 4 years or 5 years, 2020, 21, 22, 24. My recommendation is back in your room, please have a look at all the other questions also. And it's always nice habit to write the question down. When you just read it, you'll never appreciate कि अच्छा कहाँ से पूछ रहा है. जब आप लिखोगे ना, you'll understand the questions better. Write the questions down. Write the questions of last 10 odd years and see कि pattern कैसा बन रहा है. ठीक है? Anyways, so you understand 3 things now. You understand very high level what is geomorphology. You understand, what are the reference books. You understand certain PYQs. So I've said this topic is a very important topic. 2 to 3 questions are definitely asked. Some years they have asked 4 questions also. Okay. So my recommendation is back in your room, please map last 10-15 years of the PYQ questions. Likh lo and you ultimately will start answering those questions also. Let's start off now. Yeah, anything you want to clarify with me, anybody? Any clarification you seek before I start off? Okay. So, now initial facts आपको पता होना चाहिए, right? So the first fact is about the composition of Earth. I'll tell you only as much you need for your answer writing. You don't need to know everything. The first discussion, some facts about the composition of the Earth. What is our Earth made up of? If you look at the overall Earth, the major elements are oxygen, silicon, iron, magnesium, iron, magnesium. These make up the bulk. Almost 80-90% of Earth are these: oxygen, silicon, they combine to form silicates, and iron and magnesium. इसके अलावा aluminium भी है, but these are the major ones. If you look at the surface and the outer layers, the major constituents are silicon, oxygen, aluminium, along with potassium, calcium. So we call all of them together as silicate minerals. They make up the bulk of the surface and the outer layers. What is the composition of the Earth? This is in terms of the elements. I am presuming you know what elements are in terms of the elements. the composition in terms of the minerals. Okay? Yeah, please keep jotting. Okay, as I speak, nothing to understand here. You just have some names, terms. बस आप याद रखो और nothing else. अब अर्थ में ऑक्सीजन है तो है. You remember it. If Earth has more of iron, it has more of iron. इसमें no analysis here. Analysis बाद में आएगा. So for now, just know that this is approximately what the Earth is made up of in terms of elements. Now, in terms of minerals, just a clarification here. When I use the word mineral, इसके दो meanings हैं. One is minerals as in resources. Okay, so gold is a mineral, oil is a mineral, coal is a mineral. Okay, rocks are also minerals. In terms of economic resource, what we can use, buy, sell, okay, वो अलग चीज है. Minerals, resources. So coal, oil, iron ore, we mine bauxite, we mine stones. Okay, ये सब minerals हो गया. और एक है the geological meaning of minerals. Now, the geological meaning is minerals are mostly compounds. They can also be elements, but they are mostly compounds. Minerals are natural occurring. Minerals have a definite structure. We call that as they are crystalline structure. All minerals will have some arrangement of atoms in some way. उसका geometric shapes fixed होता है. So minerals are mostly compounds. Minerals are natural occurring. Minerals are crystalline. Okay. And mostly, generally, minerals are mostly, they are inorganic. Organic means they have hydrocarbons, carbon and hydrogen, sourced from life forms. But I'm saying they are mostly inorganic in origin. Okay. आप अगर यहाँ देखोगे, when I say resources, I'm saying coal is a resource. Coal mineral. But coal is actually a rock, not a mineral. Okay. Resources may I have said iron ore. Iron ore again is a rock. जिससे आप निकालते हो, maybe iron. Okay. So minerals as geology is not same as minerals as resources. Remember this. Okay. In resources they are rocks. Or they can be rocks. But in case of geological one, they're always compounds. So difference क्या है? There are elements combined to give us compounds. These compounds become minerals, and many minerals, mineral 1, mineral 2, mineral 3, mineral 4, combine together to give us rocks. Minerals are compounds. So when they're compounds, they will have a fixed properties. But rocks are not compounds. Rocks are mixtures. Rocks will not have fixed properties. ठीक है, तो ये याद रखना. There are elements, oxygen, iron, okay, silicon, calcium, aluminium, ये elements हैं. Elements combine to give us compounds. Minerals are compounds. The moment I say the compounds means minerals will have fixed properties. Fixed property of melting point, boiling point, shine, fixed property of hardness, fixed property of rigidity. Okay, उसके properties fixed होते हैं. Whether you have got a mineral like something called as say feldspar. वो feldspar इंडिया में हो, वो feldspar चाइना में है, वो feldspar यूएस में है, properties are same. Okay, you get a mineral called as say something called as olivine. Olivine anywhere is same, but rocks are not same. That's why the rocks of Rajasthan, Makrana marble is not same as the rocks marble of Italy, not same as rocks and marble of Jabalpur, not same as rocks and marble found in parts of Himalayas. ये अलग हो जाएगा. So rocks are not compounds, rocks are mixtures, rocks are aggregates of minerals. They're aggregates of minerals. Okay? That's how, see, you don't need definition of all of these, just know what they mean, that's all. So minerals are not same as rocks. Just to explain that in terms of mineral composition, what does the earth have? Okay? So you could put all of this in a small box maybe, okay, an extra content. I'm back to this discussion. What is the composition of earth in terms of minerals? Okay, so I repeat, what is the composition of earth in terms of minerals? In terms of minerals. So by now I think the new students would have understood that मेरे writing पे भरोसा नहीं करना, ठीक है? Whatever notes you make, you listen and write. Okay, writing is to tell you कि अच्छा C है तो composition ही हो सकता है. Okay, ये M है तो ये minerals लग रहा है. M समझ में आ रहा है, I समझ में आ रहा है. यहाँ कुछ लिखा सर ने और यहाँ पर डंडा खड़ा कर. ये mineral ही हो सकता है और क्या हो सकता है यहाँ पर? Okay, so by now I think you have got the hang of that. Okay, and this is God's gift. Okay, not my mistake here. Something's happened. My handwriting happened. ठीक है all of you? So be at peace with that. मुझे हर बैच में मुझे एडवाइस मिलता है, सर हैंडराइटिंग के कुछ करो. मैंने कहा आप एडवाइस देते रहो. ओके, 25 साल हो गया मैं एडवाइस ले रहा हूँ. उसके पहले बाप माँ ने कहा था, ओके, टीचर्स ने भी कहा था. ओके, अब बच्चे कहते हैं सुन लेता हूँ. अब टाइम है, आई लिसन टू माय चिल्ड्रन एट होम आल्सो. ठीक है, सो appreciate work of art, okay, and focus on syllabus. मनीष, हिंदी माध्यम से भूगोल अच्छा की तैयारी कर रहा हूं. मेरी शुभकामनाएं. okay. मेरा प्यार, मेरा दुआ, okay. मेरा जिगर जान. बेटा मेरी हिंदी इतनी तक है, इसके आगे थोड़ी शायरी कर लेता हूं, बट लिखूंगा तो जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी. So those of you who have Hindi background in your preparation, no worries. It's absolutely possible. People do qualify for that. But I am not the right person for that. So what some people do is, they study in English with me, and then they must translate that. Okay, that's an extra work for you. But I can't recommend what else can you do. I do not know of any other source. हालांकि books in Hindi हैं, सविंदर सिंह की books हिंदी में भी हैं. Okay, so Manish, that's okay. So fine, let's get back to composition of the earth in terms of minerals. So minerals, na, there are many groups of minerals. There are many groups of minerals. So we can have oxides minerals, we can have chlorides. In some book they write as halides, halogen. We can have sulfates as minerals. We can have sulfide as minerals. We can have carbonates. तो minerals के बहुत सारे groups होते हैं. Okay? And one important group is the silicate group. Okay? Much of the earth is silicate group of minerals. बाकी भी हैं. Like say, if you know about gypsum, right? Gypsum, calcium sulfate. Okay, it's one type of sulfate mineral. Calcium carbonate is one type of carbonate mineral. Common salt, जो आपका NaCl है, it's an halide. A hematite Okay, magnetite, FeO3, Fe2O3, Fe3O4, ये सब oxides होते हैं. Okay, so there are many type of minerals, but we will focus on silicates. Okay, so you can add a point here that silicate minerals are the most common form of minerals of the Earth's interiors. Silicate minerals are the most common form of minerals of the Earth's interiors. Okay, सबसे common mineral होते हैं silicates. You find silicates in the upper layer also. You find silicates also in the deeper layers. Okay, you have silicates in the upper layers and silicates also in the deeper layers. Silicates are the most common. That's one fact. अब the silicate minerals हैं, the silicate minerals are of different types. Write these 5-6 names. Okay, so common ones are feldspar, orthoclase. इसके ऊपर में एक और आता है, forgot to mention that, quartz. Quartz is a very common mineral on the Earth's surface. Sand में quartz होता है. Most rocks will have quartz. Quartz, feldspar, orthoclase. We have muscovite. Muscovite. We have biotite. Biotite. Amphibole. Amphibole. Pyroxene. Pyroxene and olivine. And olivine. Beta, ये सब topics are not in syllabus, but I think you must have some knowledge about this. वो पूछे ना पूछे, as a geography student and studying geomorphology, some bit of this बनता है जानना. ठीक है? So these are the main silicate group of minerals: quartz, feldspar, muscovite. Orthoclase. Orthoclase, muscovite. Muscovite is some type of, you know about mica, right? Mica, एक mineral abrak, mica, shines, it was used as insulator. It has muscovite. Muscovite, biotite, amphibole, pyroxene and olivine. And olivine. Now, इस minerals में, you remember this for now, that this is a transition mineral. Biotite is a transition mineral, but it belongs more to the above four. और ये तीन अलग है. They have different properties. So these three minerals, they are heavier. They are heavier. They are darker. They're heavier. They're darker. Okay. They have more of magnesium. They have more of iron. Okay. These minerals are called as ferromagnesium silicates. FMS बोलते हैं. They are more of magnesium. They are more of iron, and we call these as ferromagnesium silicates. और ये dark होते हैं, color में dark हैं. And they are denser also. They are heavier. Denser. Okay. Olivine एक mineral है. Olivine. This is found almost entirely in the interiors. Interiors, we have a layer called as the mantle. The main mineral of the mantle is olivine. हालांकि olivine बाहर आ सकता है, but it's very rare. Olivine is found almost entirely in the interiors, in the layer called as the mantle of the earth. I'm sure all of you have heard about mantle. If no, ठीक है, वो भी करा देंगे आपको. But olivine is not commonly found surface. Whereas these minerals जो हैं, these minerals, these are lighter. These are light in color also. हल्का भी है, light in colors हैं. These will have more of silicates. Okay, silicates. They have more of aluminium, potassium, calcium, sodium. Okay, not so much of magnesium and iron. ठीक है, they'll have more of, because हल्का होता है, aluminium is lighter, aluminium, potassium, calcium, sodium compounds होंगे, they're lighter. Okay, and these make up the above layers, the outer layers, because हल्का होता है तो ये बाहर होता है ज्यादा. These make up the deeper layers, and olivine तो पूरा ही अंदर होता है, largely mantle में. These make up the relatively outer layers. Outer layers, they're very common on the surface of the earth. They're very common on surface of earth. These are the most common minerals of sedimentary rocks. Okay, sand, vand, ये सब quartz, feldspar ही होता है. Okay, they are more common in the outer layers. They are very common in sedimentary rocks. Okay, because they're lighter, and these minerals are called as non-ferromagnesium silicates. इनको बोलते हैं ferromagnesium silicates. We call these as non-ferromagnesium silicates, NFMS. By the way, although I'm saying non-ferro, ऐसा नहीं है कि iron होता नहीं है, होता है, बहुत कम होता है. हालांकि of course quartz and feldspar will not have iron, but it's not zero as in zero completely. Okay. No, it's very, very less, almost negligible. We call these as non-ferromagnesium silicates. इसका एक और नाम है. We also call these rocks as, or these minerals as, felsic minerals. They're also called as felsic. Call them as NFMS or call them as felsic. And these are also called as mafic. They're also called as mafic. Okay. So what are felsic minerals? What are mafic minerals? What are ferromagnesium minerals? And what are non-ferromagnesium minerals? आपको याद रखना होगा. Okay. और इसी sequence में. Okay. This is the lightest. This is the densest. This is the light in color and darkest in color. इसी sequence में होता है. Okay. So quartz, feldspar, orthoclase, muscovite, biotite, amphibole, pyroxene and olivine. ये तीन अलग कर लेना है, ये तीन अलग करना, चार अलग है, और ये transition है, but it is more like this. Okay, biotite is a transition rock, but it is more like, okay, the felsic or the non-ferromagnesium silicates. एक और property, rather that two more properties, इसको थोड़ा सा अगर जगह है लिखो अलग से, otherwise manage how you can. These four, they are relatively more acidic. Okay, these four are acidic. The pH value is less than 7. They are more acidic. Whereas these three, जो तीन हैं, these are more basic. They are more basic. Acidic rocks, acidic minerals. Basic rocks and basic minerals. They're basic. Okay. Because of this, acidic है plus silicates, इसका एक और property है that these are hard. These are harder. These are hard, but when solid. Okay. They're hard when solid, and they're also dense, I have said, but when they melt, sorry, they are less dense, sorry. They're hard and they are less dense. But when they melt, they become thick. They become viscous. हल्का है, okay, less dense है. But जब melt कर जाएगा, they will become viscous. They will not move very easily. They'll become more thicker. ठीक है? They are more viscous. They will not flow very easily. Whereas these minerals, ये basic हैं, they are softer. They are softer. They are more dense. But when molten, they become more fluid. When molten, they become more fluid. ठीक है? In your summary sheets back in your room, मैं चाहूंगा कि इसी फॉर्म में होना चाहिए. क्लास नोट्स जैसे लिख पाते हो लिखो, नो प्रॉब्लम. The points must be there. When you make a summary, this is an important property. ये वाला property, ये important property है. When molten, why? बेटा इसीलिए इसको property बोलते हैं. Property में why नहीं पूछा जाता है. Why is water colorless? Okay, है तो है. ठीक. Why is oxygen important for respiration? Okay, because it is capable of some properties others cannot do. Why does oil burn? उसका वही property है. Okay, so जो properties होते हैं, we don't ask why does diamond look the way it looks. उसका property है. Okay, it can trap light or whatever. Okay, internal reflection of light. ठीक है. So properties में we don't ask why. That's how it is. Okay, this is dark. Dark, remember it's dark. Okay, this is dense, so it is dense. Now that you know the property, अब आप पूछ सकते हो इसके वजह से क्या होता है. That we can answer. Simple thing like अगर volcanic eruption हो रहा है and you have this type of minerals, the lava will be thick lava. वो move नहीं करेगा. Because it can't move, it will build up lot of energy and it will explode. If volcano has this type of minerals, the lava is very fluid. वो आराम से बह के बाहर निकल जाएगा. So these type of eruptions are not very catastrophic. These eruptions are very powerful because lava becomes thick. Okay. This type of lava can spread and become sheets of lava. They become lava plateaus. This type of lava फैलेगा नहीं, वो इकट्ठा होगा, it will become a very tall mountain. So because you know the properties, you can explain what type of landforms are formed, what type of impact they can have. तो वहां पर why I can explain. But ये fundamental है. इसमें why नहीं है, just remember these properties here. Okay. The non-ferromagnesium silicates are acidic. They are lighter, not as dense, but they are hard. ये hard होते हैं. Quartz is the second hardest substance after diamond. Quartz is very, very hard. It can be cutting tools also. Quartz. Okay. Whereas olivine, pyroxene are very soft. They're very dense. When they melt, they will flow. That's the property that they have. When molten, they become very fluid. When molten, they become very thick and dense. They become viscous. Is it okay all of you here? So composition में, the composition in terms of elements क्या है, and the composition in terms of minerals क्या है. All done? Okay, now the third is rocks. Now as a ritual, when I start off geomorphology, no matter what your background is, ये दो तीन टॉपिक हम करा ही देते हैं. Okay, otherwise lot of other things will get trapped. Syllabus में है नहीं, but okay, you better know these things. So what are rocks? So rocks, I said, rocks are aggregates of minerals. ये समझ में आता है आपको? Rocks are not compounds. Rocks are aggregates. They are mixtures. They are mixtures of minerals. Therefore, rocks will not have definite composition. Rocks will not have a definite properties. Because they are aggregates of minerals, they are mixtures of minerals, they're alike minerals. Minerals का composition different होता है. Rocks will not have definite composition. Okay. And rocks will not have definite properties. They'll vary. It depends on what type of rocks we have. They'll vary. Achha. On the basis of origin, on the basis of origin, there are three types of rocks. I believe all of you know this. Okay, I'm just repeating this. There are three types of rocks. Okay, we have igneous rocks, we have sedimentary rocks, and we have metamorphic rocks. The three types of rocks on the basis of how they are formed. Okay, igneous rocks क्या होते हैं? They are because of cooling and solidification of lava or magma. Lava, magma is what? Molten rocks. Okay. When they cool down and they become solids. When they cool down, okay, they become solid rocks. We call those as igneous. The word IGN, ign, basically means fire. Okay. We also call these as primary rocks. They also called सारा rock का शुरुआत यही होता है. They also called as primary rocks because of cooling and because of solidification of the lava or the magma. नहीं, same नहीं है. Magma is when it is inside the earth. Lava is when it comes out. Okay. When inside the earth, it's called as magma. Okay. When it's outside, it's called as lava. ठीक है. जैसे बाहर है तो carnivores. Inside the parliament, they become our leaders. Okay. तो वैसे ही सोचो आप. Outside, they are something else. Inside, there's something else. ठीक है. So magma and lava, we use them in different contexts. Okay, fine. Oh, no, I risk the privilege motion against me. It'll be a matter of pride, no? My great grandson telling, my great grandfather, was taken up for parliamentary privilege motion. I repeat, जो बाहर होता है वो carnivore है, ठीक है? It is supposed to be a pest, okay? And inside the parliament, there are our leaders. I'll wait now. कौन forward करेगा इसको, ये कहाँ जाएगा? ठीक है. I also need my claim to fame. Okay, igneous rocks. नहीं, parliament is not same as the people who make the parliament. ये दो अलग चीज है. Okay. Sedimentary rocks are essentially accumulation and a formation of rocks from sediments. Sediments, okay, they pile up together, they add up together, okay, they become sedimentary rocks. And metamorphic rocks are, okay, they are dramatically transformed. Igneous or sedimentary rocks because of very high temperature and a very high pressure. Don't write this as sentences and paragraphs. आपको बस वो key idea चाहिए, that's all. Igneous rocks are because of cooling and solidification of lava or magma. Sedimentary rocks are accumulation and the formation of rocks from sediments. Okay, they are eroded, okay, fragmented sediments, they pile up together. And metamorphic rocks, sedimentary rocks से भी बनते हैं और igneous rocks से भी बनते हैं. right? So it is dramatic transformation, transformed igneous rocks and sedimentary rocks. Why igneous rocks? You have transformed it. Metamorphose means transformation. Transformation of sedimentary rocks, transformation of igneous rocks because of high temperatures and because of high pressure. Okay. Examples of sedimentary rocks, I think some of us know. Examples are a sandstone, examples are limestone, examples are a shale. Okay, shale का एक form है called as the mudstone. Examples of metamorphic rocks are quartzite, marble. Okay, sandstone becomes quartzite, limestone becomes marble, a shale and mudstone can become schist. Can become schist. They can become phyllites. Some names of metamorphic rocks. ठीक है? And ये तीनों में remember that sedimentary rocks, these are softer. They are softer and they will have layers. And sedimentary rocks make up the outer layers of the continents. Sedimentary rocks, they make up the outer layers of the continents. यहाँ तक ठीक है, all of you? What are igneous rocks? What are sedimentary rocks? And what are metamorphic rocks? ठीक है, sedimentary rocks, they are the most abundant rocks of the outer layers of the continents. Okay, limestone, sandstone, and so on. I'll discuss igneous rocks अलग से. These are our main concern. Igneous rocks. Igneous rocks. So igneous rocks मैंने बताया, they are primary rocks. They are formed because of a solidification of lava or magma. Igneous rocks, they are always crystalline. They can have very fine crystals जो हमें दिखता नहीं है, but they are crystalline. Crystalline rocks. They can be very, very fine crystals you cannot see, or they can be large crystals. अगर large crystals हैं, we call these as pegmatites. Or अगर small crystals हैं, very small, we can't see them, we call these as glass. They are there, but okay. They're called glass igneous rocks. Forget one name. चलो आएगा तो बताएंगे आपको. ठीक है, pegmatites. And the rule is, अगर fine है, these type of rocks are formed when the lava cools very fast and on the surface, exposed. The large ones are formed when the lava cools slowly and it cools within the interiors. Okay. जब वो बाहर आके cool होगा, so this is the surface here. So there is some source of magma. The magma moves. For some reason, magma gets trapped here. यही बन गया रॉक, या फिर मैग्मा बाहर आ गया और यहां बन गया रॉक. If it comes out, this is extrusive igneous rocks. It remains inside. It's called as intrusive igneous rocks. They're also called as A plutonic rock, the extrusive ones will have fine crystals. They'll have fine crystals, whereas this will have large crystals. Right? एक टाइप का ये रॉक है, आया फिर भूल गया. It's playing hide and seek with me. Obsidians. Example of this is obsidian rock. If you have seen Game of Thrones, okay, you have seen Game of Thrones? No. Okay. The dragon glass hai, which is used to kill the night walkers, right? The dragon glass, black color hai, that's an example of an obsidian rock, right? Life में कुछ क्या करो यार, पढ़ाई भी नहीं कर रहे हो, okay, Game of Thrones भी नहीं देख रहे हो, कर क्या रहे हो? And I was told some of you are studying in the holy day, but वो तो पाप लग गया आपको. Okay. होली के दिन पढ़ाई हो रही थी, वो तो घोर पाप हो गया. Okay. Anyways, so obsidian, some people refer to this as dragon glass, और यही टर्म उठा लिया था in that production called Game of Thrones. Obsidian एकदम black color होता है and very sharp. It actually has properties of cutting. Yes, yes. It was used as arrows and swords in that. Yes. Okay, all of you? So, obsidian. So, large crystals when extrusive and fine crystals when they are, large crystals when intrusive and small crystals when they are extrusive. Yaad rahega all of you? What are igneous rocks and properties? और एक important property है, igneous rocks, they are not layered. They are not stratified. They are unstratified. They don't have layers. Igneous rocks. Okay? This much of initiation is fine about the rocks. Now, types of igneous rocks on the basis of composition. Type of igneous rocks on the basis of composition. What are they made up of? When I say composition, I'm talking about percentage of silica content. Percentage of silica content. ठीक है, आप ये बॉक्स याद रखेंगे. देख लो पहले, look at the board first. I won't put percentage here, हालांकि percentage होता है. You just remember this as more silica, and this is less silica. Silica means silicon oxides. Silica is silicon oxides. Less means less than 40%. Okay. More is more than 55, more than 60%. ये एक टाइप का ग्रेडेशन है सिलिका कंटेंट. There are extrusive rocks and there are intrusive rocks. ये सारा remember is only for igneous rocks. Only for igneous rocks. These are the felsic rocks. आपको याद है आपको? क्वार्ट्ज, फेल्डस्पार, ऑर्थोक्लेज, मस्कोवाइट, बायोटाइट, एम्फीबोल, पायरोक्सिन एंड ओलिवाइन. ठीक है. These are felsic, these are mafic, these are lighter, these are denser. ठीक है. Also called as non-ferromagnesium silicates, called as ferromagnesium silicates. तो इसको यहां मैप कर रहे हैं हम. Okay. These have, remember more silicon लिखा भी था मैंने. More silicates, they're acidic in nature. These are a higher percentage of silicates, and these will have higher percentage of iron and magnesium. So silicate component कम होगा ऐसे percentage wise. They have more silicates, they have less silicates. Okay. Lighter, they are denser. ठीक है. So using this, okay. The felsic rocks, there is intermediate rock, there is mafic rock, and there is ultramafic. Four categories of igneous rocks. Granite, andesite, basalt, peridotite. ये चार मोस्ट कॉमन रॉक्स हैं. ग्रेनाइट इज फेल्सिक एंड इंट्रूसिव, ये बाहर नहीं आता. एंडेसाइट इज इंटरमीडिएट एंड एक्सट्रूसिव, ये बाहर आ जाता है. बसाल्ट इज मेफिक और बाहर भी आ सकता है. द ओशंस आर मेड अप ऑफ बसाल्ट्स. एंड द मेंटल इज intrusive and ultra mafic, is very very mafic. It will have more of olivine. Olivine जो है यहां पर olivine होगा. More of olivine mineral. I want this table to be memorized. Okay. So if you know this much, you know the properties now. Granite is hard. Granite is acidic. Granite will have large crystals. Okay. Basalt is soft. Basalt has dark color. Basalt is denser. When basalt melts, it will become more fluid. ये difference याद होना चाहिए. These are mafic rocks. Mafic, they will become more fluid, but they are denser. They are thicker, but they are felsic, they are lighter. Spend a few seconds and please internalize this. Okay. Minerals decide the properties of the rocks. Minerals decide the nature of the landforms. Why some landforms are flat, why some landforms are tall, why some volcanoes are destructive, why some volcanoes are very quiet. Okay. Why at some locations we have more strong earthquakes. ये सब इससे लिंक्ड है. अगर लावा आपका इस टाइप का लावा है, it's a thick lava, it'll come out with a lot of force. The earthquake will be very very powerful earthquakes. These type of eruptions are very quiet eruptions. They will not cause damaging earthquakes. This one table and this mineral properties decides lots of landforms and lot of phenomena across the earth. कहां पर eruption है, कहां पर quiet है, कहां पर strong earthquakes हैं. This page will give you all the details. Andesite. This is andesite. Andes mountains, andesite. These are very common rocks of the Andes mountains, the very common rocks of the Rockies mountains. and dacite. This is basalt. Basalt is relatively softer than granites, basalts. And when molten, they are very, very fluid. एक हमारा कंफ्यूजन होता है, सर आप हार्ड बोल रहे हो और लेस डेंस बोल रहे हो, आप सॉफ्ट बोल रहे हो एंड मोर डेंस बोल रहे हो. सर ये समझ में नहीं आता फॉर मेनी ऑफ यू. दिस इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक एन ऑक्सीमोरोन. ये कैसे पॉसिबल है? So most of us don't realize that this is a measure of density, this is a measure of rigidity. Something can be soft but dense. Okay, soft का मतलब क्या है? You can deform very easily. Think of mercury. Okay, mercury, para, mercury कैसा है? Soft है ना? Mercury can flow, but mercury is dense, भारी है. Think of glass on the glass windows. Glass is halka hai, but it'll break. You can't fold it, you can't bend it. So glass is hard but less dense. Mercury is soft but more dense. Is it okay, all of you? So oil is thick but oil is lighter. Okay, water is thin but water is heavier than oil. So density and rigidity अलग अलग properties है. Okay, and viscosity is ease of flow. So for most of us ये problem होता है, सर जो hard है वो dense भी होना चाहिए, not necessarily. Okay, not necessarily. So density is the measure of the matter per volume. कितना matter है, कितना mass है. And hardness is okay the rigidity quotient, whether it can resist deformation or not. I hope that's okay, all of you now. Yeah, any questions? Online, offline? क्या जानना चाहते हो? बड़ा प्यारा सा रॉक है. Okay, पेरी पेरी जैसा नहीं है. It's found in the mantle. And उसमें olivine है. That's all. What else you want to know? Pedotite is a very rare rock. Rare as in rare to find on the surface. But it's a very common rock of the mantle. It's the main rock of the mantle. And it is made up of olivine. ठीक है? अच्छा, now, every rock will have an equivalent. Main rock ये है, इसके जैसा एक बाहर भी आ सकता है. Main rock ये है, इसके जैसा एक अंदर रह सकता है. It won't come out. Main rock is this one. Something like this, a rock can stay inside, doesn't come out. Okay. This is the main rock. Something like this can also come out. Okay. So, इसका जो equivalent है, exclusive equivalent, it's called as rhyolite. RHYOLITE. It's called as a rhyolite. RHYOLITE, rhyolite. इसका intrusive form है diorite. DIORIT, diorite. In fact, ये दो rocks जो हैं, granite and diorite, these are the most common rocks of the continent interiors. Don't say earth interiors. They are the most common rock of the continent interiors. I'll explain what I mean by that. See, देखो, this is the earth. And on the earth, there is a large mass called as continents. On the earth, there is some mass called as the ocean rocks. And these are the interiors of earth. These are the interiors of earth. So interiors of earth मतलब यहां की बात कर रहे हैं. Interiors of continent का मतलब है मैं यहां की बात कर रहे हैं. Not the same thing. Is it okay? So granite and diorite are the most common rocks of, कहाँ गया? Oh, ऊपर ही है. They are the most common rocks of the interiors of continents. ठीक है? Basalt. इसका फॉर्म, इंटीरियर वाला फॉर्म इज कॉल्ड एज गैब्रो. बसाल्ट का गैब्रो, एंडेसाइट का डियोराइट, ग्रेनाइट का रायोलाइट. यू नीड नॉट नो ऑल द नेम्स, बट जान लो यार, क्या फर्क पड़ता है. इतना कुछ जानते हो तो 2-3 और पाप सही. And this is comatite, K-O-M-A. Comatite is among the rarest rocks. Comatite among the rarest rocks. ये टेबल याद हुआ आप लोगों को? Four columns. Felsic, mafic, ultramafic, intermediate. Extrusive rocks, intrusive rocks. This one is granite. This is andesite, basalt. So when I began studying this, I would remember this. पहले मैंने ये बना लेना है. This is the more common ones. ठीक है? And then I know कि इसका वाला ये है, this, this, and this. Granite, andesite, basalt, and pedotite. Here we have rhyolite. This is rhyolite. This is diorite, this is gabbro, and this is comatite. And the properties are, this is acidic, this is harder, this lava is viscous, this is ultra basic, very, very basic, this is very soft, and this is very fluid when molten. This is how the properties will grade. All good? So, what is the composition of the earth in terms of elements? The composition of earth in terms of minerals, the composition in terms of rocks, and of detailed, okay, some of the names of the rocks. And you better know the properties of the igneous type of rocks. Okay? Now, for these topics, I won't recommend you to look up any textbook. You just follow the notes on this. तो आप कुछ points लिख लो, please. Write down some points. Write some points, please. Some facts. Points. Number one. The interiors of earth and the mantle. The interiors of earth and the mantle is mainly made up of olivine, mineral, and peridotite rocks. Made up of olivine, mineral, and peridotite rocks. One. Number two, the continents are mostly granites interiors, granites and diorite interiors, granites and diorite interiors, and rhyolite andesite at locations of Andes types of mountains. At locations of Andes types of mountains. एक फैक्ट जाने बस. Next, the continent's outer layers are mostly sedimentary rocks. The continent's outer layers are mostly sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks कभी अंदर होते ही नहीं है. You'll never find sedimentary rocks inside. For sedimentary rocks, I need water, air, compaction. वो सब होता नहीं है. Sedimentary rocks are always features of the outer layers of continents. In fact, sedimentary rocks are also not found on the oceans either. ये सिर्फ continents के ही part होते हैं. Next slide down. Next slide down. The oceans are made up of basalts. The oceans are made up of basalts. ये भी facts जाने आप. I just drew this diagram. In this diagram, okay, जो oceans हैं, the ocean rocks are basalt rocks. Continents का जो interiors है, this is diorite, granite. Continents का जो outer layers हैं, these are more sedimentary rocks. And the rocks which make up the interiors of Earth, these are mostly olivine and pedotite. Okay, so these are basalt rocks. They make up the oceans. The interiors of Earth, in particular the mantle, this is peridotite rocks and olivine minerals. The oceans are basalt. The interiors of Earth are olivine minerals and pedotite rocks. Continents के जो outer parts हैं, the above layers of continents, the outer layers of continents are sedimentary rocks, and the interiors of continents, these are mostly granites and diorites. Yes, Dinesh, correct. हो गया, all done? Is it okay, all of you? Continents' interiors are granite and diorite, and Earth's interiors are pedotite and olivine. Okay, let's move on. Some of these, this is a very common thing, when we start learning new things, बहुत बार it's a pain. नया चीज सीखना है, जानना है, पता नहीं था, you're struggling. Give yourself some time. When you look back, you'll wonder, अच्छा ये भी हमें नहीं पता था. It's such a basic concept that you are supposed to know. Whether आप ज्योग्राफी ले ना ले, अगर आप बेसिक पढ़ रहे हैं इतना तो पता ही होना चाहिए. It's something like, when the first time Ukraine war broke out, many of us did not know a country called Ukraine है भी. और है तो इतना बड़ा country है with a nuclear power plant, it had nuclear weapons, it has such a long coast along the Black Sea. Okay, it is something Russia has always coveted. Okay, पहली बार देखा तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, अच्छा इतना कुछ important है. We didn't even know a man called Zelensky, right? Okay, but now you look back, it's like it's taken for granted. इतना तो पता ही होगा यार. भले आप जानो ना जानो कि इंडिया के नेबरहुड में पाकिस्तान है, okay, but Ukraine it's taken for granted कि अब तो पता ही है. So some of this content, while they might look new and first time पढ़ रहे हैं, but ये बहुत elementary concepts हैं. You are supposed to know this. नहीं जानते हो, no worries. Now you have started that off. Don't get discouraged by so many terms, new terms. Basically, you are facing the karma of not studying in school, right? School NCERT में सब कुछ है, तब नहीं पढ़ा तो अब पढ़ोगे और क्या, कहाँ जाओगे, नहीं पढ़ोगे. Okay, take up a fresh page. Interiors of the earth. I am studying the structure and composition. The interiors of the earth, the structure and the composition. Again, I don't expect a question from this, but you should know this. The interiors of the earth, the structure and the composition. Yes, Sabre Alam, you can get in touch. Okay, they'll do what they can. Hi. Okay, one of you joined just now. Hello. Okay, good morning for tomorrow. Okay, you're early for tomorrow. Okay. Now, there are many models. Why do I say many models? Basically, अंदर exactly क्या है हमें नहीं पता. I mean, it's one of those mysteries. Okay, we do not know much about what's beneath our feet. Neither do we know much about what's beyond the sky. ठीक है? So, what we do not know, we try representing in a scientific way. We call that representation as a model. ठीक है, हमें पता नहीं है what it is. Exactly, there are a lot of gaps. But whatever I know, whatever I can prove, whatever I have studied, उसके basis पे I imagine कि अच्छा, this is what it probably looks like. I've never seen an animal called meerkats. Okay, अब cat है तो मन में एक है मॉडल. cat हो तो कैसा होना चाहिए? छोटा होना चाहिए. cat है तो it should jump around. A cat है तो maybe it's also playful in nature. So एक मन बना लिया कि meerkat का मतलब ऐसा कुछ होगा. That representation is called as a model. So there are many people who have thought about this. There are many models. Okay, so I'll give you some of them. There was a model given by a man called as Edward Swiss. There was a model given by a man called as Arthur Holmes. Okay, अलग-अलग models हैं. But the most contemporary model, there are two variants. There are many models about the Earth's interiors. Okay, and I use the model because I am not very sure about exactly है क्या. I have thought of some, I have imagined some, and I put that into a structure and a shape. Okay, but the most recent one, the most contemporary model जो है, there are two of them. There are two variants. One is the model which is based on composition, and one is a model which is based on relative rigidity or relative hardness. A model based on composition and a model based on rigidity. This one is called as Earth's chemical structure. Chemical internal structure is called as Earth's mechanical structure. A mechanical model and the chemical model of the Earth's interiors. Okay. A chemical model most of us are familiar with. We divide the Earth into the outer layer called as the crust, the layer called as the mantle, and the layer called as the core. I'm sure all of you have heard these three names. There's a crust, there's a mantle, and there is a core. The crust is of two types. The crust can be continental crust, and the crust can be oceanic crust. When I say oceanic crust, I don't mean the water, I mean the rocks of the ocean floor. ठीक है? There is continents, there is oceans. Continents are harder, continents are lighter, continents are acidic, continents are mostly granites, diorites, and sedimentary rocks. ठीक है? Continents are hard, continents are lighter, हल्का होता है, less dense. Continents, okay, are acidic because they're made up of quartz, feldspar, felsic rocks हैं. Okay, continental rocks are felsic. Felsic rocks, तो acidic rocks होंगे. And the main rocks are granites and diorites. Oceanic rocks, they are soft, they are dense, they are basic, and the main rock of oceans are basalts. The main rock of the oceans are basalts. ये सारे चीजों को पैराग्राफ में नहीं लिखना है. अगर एग्जाम में भी पूछेगा ना, ऐसे ही लिखना है. पैराग्राफ रखो फॉर सम डिस्कशंस. फैक्ट्स को ऐसे ही डाल देना होता है. डायग्रामेटिक, Earth's interiors are as shown alongside. छोड़ दो. Draw the diagram and put all the facts there. One technique of saving space and time. Okay. Oceans are mafic, not felsic. Oceans are mafic. Basalt is a mafic rock. अभी कुछ देर पहले बताया, but we'll repeat it. देखो, basalt is a mafic rock. Granite, diorite, they are felsic and intermediate rocks. They're more acidic. Ocean crust is mafic. And continents का average density जो है, वो about 2.5 है density. And oceans का density है 3.5. The average density of the continents is 2.5. The average density of the oceans is 3.5. Density का मतलब? Something called as specific density. It is in comparison to water, and water is considered 1. When I say 2.5 का मतलब होता है it is 2.5 times denser than water. तो स्पेसिफिक डेंसिटी का कोई यूनिट्स नहीं होता, ठीक है. You comparing with water. If water is 1, then basalt is 3 times denser than water. That's what it means. ठीक है. Have you all got the facts, all of you done? अच्छा, now come to mantle. Mantle जो है, there are 3 layers. There is an upper mantle, there is a middle mantle, and there is a deeper mantle. There are 3 layers of mantle. Upper mantle, middle mantle, deeper mantle. Upper mantle is up to around, round off, 350, 400 kilometer from the surface of the earth, and inner mantle starts from around 700 to 900 kilometers from the surface of the earth. ये बना लो, then I'll give you some details. Okay, I'll help you all consolidate eventually. Okay, the upper mantle is 350, 400 kilometer from thickness from the surface. So ये है पूरा upper mantle. And the inner mantle starts, inner बोल लो या फिर deeper mantle बोल लो. It starts from 700-900 kilometer from the surface of the earth. And upper mantle is the lighter one. The deeper mantle is the densest one. ठीक है. Upper mantle का density 4-5 की रेंज में होता है. By the time you come here, it's around 9 to 11 density होता है. Remember the range, okay? 4 to 5 is the upper mantle, and the deeper mantle is around 9 to 10. Okay, and I've told you, the main rock of the mantle क्या है? What's the main rock of the mantle? Peridotite. The main rock is peridotite, and the main mineral is olivine. इसके variants भी हैं, okay? But for now this will do. The main rock is peridotite, and the main mineral is olivine. Core का beginning is approximately 2900 kilometers से शुरू होता है core, and the core has 2 parts, the outer core and the inner core, and this division is at around 4800 kilometers. The outer core and the inner core. Outer core जो है ये fluid है. It is molten. It is fluid. The inner core is solid. Iron and nickel. The outer core is fluid. It's molten. It moves. The inner core is solid. Iron and nickel. Inner core is approximately around 13.5 इसका density, and outer core is around 11-12 density. All good, all of you? It is the structure of the Earth's interiors according to the chemical layering, the chemical structure. ठीक है. So now some details. अब लिखो आप, write down. The crust is the outermost layer. There are 2 types of crust: continent crust and ocean crust. The continents and the oceanic crust. Second, the continent crust is lighter, I said 2.5 density hai, but it is thicker. Average thickness, it varies about 60 kilometers, and it can be maximum around 80 kilometers thick also ho sakta hai. The continents are far more thicker. They are far more thicker. Whereas the oceanic crust is denser, 3.5. Ocean crust is basalt mainly, and it is thinner. Average thickness about 1 kilometer. It can be around 3 kilometers also in some places. The ocean crust is denser, thinner, and it is basalt. All done? The next fact. The mantle is 60% of the Earth's mass, total mass. The mantle is 60% of the Earth's mass and 80% of the Earth's volume. The mantle is 60% of the Earth's mass and about 80% of the Earth's volume. So, mantle सबसे बड़ा part है. Okay. Mantle extends from under the crust. The mantle extends from under the crust up to approximately 2900 kilometers. Up to approximately around 2900 kilometers. Okay. And the mantle has distinct layers. The mantle has distinct layers. The deeper mantle is very different from the upper mantle. The deeper mantle is very different from the upper mantle. ठीक है? The mantle is mainly peridotite. The mantle is mainly peridotite and its variants. उसके अलग-अलग forms हैं peridotite के. And the mineral is olivine and its variants. And the mineral is olivine and its variants. Within bracket mention, the proportion of olivine is more in the upper mantle. बाकी में कुछ और form है. It's not pure olivine. It's like water and different forms of water. वैसे ही olivine is the main mineral, but it is found in different forms, the different variants of olivine found. एक और ऐड करो, next point ऐड करो. The mantle is solid. But in parts it is molten. The mantle is solid, but in parts it is molten and is capable of circulations. In part it is molten and is capable of circulations. The circulating cells are called as, it is solid, in part it is molten, it's capable of circulations. The circulating cells are called as mantle convection cells. They're called as mantle convection cells. All fine? So what I'm saying is okay, this is the interiors of Earth. This is the continent here, large continent, and we have very thin oceans. This is the interiors of Earth. अब interiors of Earth जो है, the mantle part, it is solid, but some part has molten, and these molten rocks can circulate and move like this. The molten ones can move like this. This part is molten, and the molten one inside the solid, through pathways and conduits, it can move like this. Think of human body, it is solid. Inside the body, pathways hai, blood can move, plasma can move, air can move. So wo pathways they circulate like this. We call these as mantle convection cells. Priyanka, if you can put some photographs of these in the notes we attach, the convection cells, okay, and maybe give them a link also of YouTube. It's a very common thing, and check up YouTube mein. What does the circulation cell look like? Put the link from the YouTube on the Telegram channel. They can have a look what they look like. Okay, so that's about the mantle. It is solid but with convection cells. The next fact is the core. The core has two parts. The core has two parts. The outer core is molten and fluid. The core has two parts. The outer core is molten and a fluid. And the inner core is solid, iron and nickel rich. The outer core is fluid, molten. The inner core is solid. It is iron and nickel rich. This arrangement of the core is responsible for Earth's geomagnetism. Is responsible for Earth's geomagnetism. If you are keen to look this up, there's just about 1.5 pages of reading. Okay, in your chapter number 5, Savindra Singh, Geomorphology. Chapter 5, in my book it is page 111. In your book it could be page 110. Okay, और पेज में फर्क नहीं पड़ता है इसमें. इसमें किताब नहीं है, आप लिख लो तो बाद में जब मन करे पढ़ लेना, but do read. Okay, some of you will read while I am teaching, others will read in your 4th attempt. That's your choice. ठीक है, और कुछ बाद में पढ़ना पढ़ाने के लिए. Okay, no worries. So page 110 या 111 में you have this recent views लिखा है. Recent views. Recent views में is a continuous read. Okay, what is the crust? Okay, what is the mantle? Next page में mantle है, and then you have okay, the core. The core is mentioned here, and this diagram is there. Okay, just read through this. कुछ समझ में आएगा, कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा. जो नहीं आएगा, I will clarify that in tomorrow's class. Not more than about 1.5-2 pages in your textbook. ठीक है? Absolutely. I am a firm believer of this. You have to open books. Okay, not every day, but once in 5-6 days में you open the books and I'll tell you the page numbers. ये books को ना पूरा नहीं पढ़ा जाता है. You don't read the whole book, at least not in the first go. In the first go, just those paragraphs, एक page है, एक diagram है. Get familiar. Okay? So that's for today's class. Have they announced your case study today? आज है case study? Priyanka, have you announced case study today? Priyanka? No? Okay, ठीक है. Fine, then your day off, we'll catch you tomorrow. We start and continue with this. Bye-bye all of you. Bye-bye. Yeah, we continue tomorrow. हिमांशु, that is sedimentary rocks. और ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं होता है, उसमें भी होता है. It depends on what depth are you digging.